Hey, hi guys. I'm going to make this little video just in case anybody's interested in trying to connect with the Sasquatch people through Glyphs. I've had an amazing journey with Glyphs, communicating back and forth with them. And, you know, I've talked to some other people online about making Glyphs, and, you know, people like Kevin Royce and numerous others. And you know, quite often, when they took my advice and left their own glyph, or you know, tried to communicate with them in that way, they got really, really good results. I wouldn't say consistently, but very, very often. So, anyway, quite often I see, you know, when I go to the woods, you'll see a little pile of sticks like this or whatever in an area where they're building their glyphs and where they're active. And you know, I associate this with kids and kind of like pickup sticks or whatever, and so they keep their little pile of supplies sometimes, and then they will go and make a glyph. So let's make a few. I'll show you what I do when I make my signature glyph, and let's see if I can find a. Okay. So, you know, I mean, glyphs are not only like sticks and whatever. I like the peeled ones because they stand out. And, you know, quite often up here they do peel their sticks. So anyway, I'll make my signature glyph that I left them. And it was quite amazing because they, right away, they started changing my glyph around. And they would even incorporate it into some of their glyphs, and I've got some very, very powerful messages, you know, when they utilize my glyph in conjunction with other symbols that I recognized. And so this, I think, is what I initially made. I made a B to stand for me, you know, pretty simple, Brian B. And, you know, my intention, I let my intentions be known to them that this was me. And then I also put a roof of protection over top of it. And anyway, yeah, so they started doing all kinds of stuff when I left this glyph, and it was absolutely amazing. So I would suggest that anybody who is interested and wants to try this, go for it. You know, I mean, what you make is not important. Your intention is important. As long as you convey that this is me. The glyph that you make, tell them this is my signature, and you know, take it from there. Let your intentions be known. So there's the first glyph I think I made for them. Well, let's see if I can make a few play around here. Oh boy. Well, here's my fish glyph. Now, if I was going to. Okay, so this for me would mean, this is the fish glyph, which is Susan and I, the oval. And I've got it going across here to form the A, and then the X. And so my meaning for this would be, the meaning is between you and them. Really, like, you know, the A for me is RE, my clan leader. And I have heard that you know, the A may be the clan leader. That's kind of a universal one, and it may be the case. But, you know, I can only speak for my guys. But basically, the meaning of the glyphs, if they're working for you, you have to come to an understanding between you and them what they mean. And that's literally how it works. I've proven that to myself. So this one would be the Brian and Sue fish glyph with the A, and there's an X. So that would mean Brian and Sue are being welcomed and befriended, friendship welcome X, from the clan of RE. Well, that's kind of fun. And let's see. Oh yeah, here's the old classic Y stick. I gotta look at this. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to do it this way. So, okay, now this would be man, Sasquatch connected. And the message would be from the clan of our RE, the A. Quite often they'll leave rocks in their glyphs too. And I got one very much like this, a Y stick. Very early on when I came to the understanding of what the Y stick meant, so I saw a Y stick leaning up against a tree, and there was a rock at the top of it. Actually, it was just, it was kind of like this. I'll just show you the picture, but like that, and it was hanging up against a tree, and that meant man, Sasquatch connected, and this is the individual who left it. Quite often when you see rocks in conjunction with glyphs, they will stand for the clan member, and they can be size appropriate too. For instance, this one's a little bigger than this one, so this would mean that this rock and this individual was an older or a bigger individual. So they can be size appropriate too. It's actually quite neat. Let's see. Of course, here's the old friendship welcome X. Very, very common one. Yeah, so this is really fun, actually, making these. I've actually left my own for them quite a few times, and I've got a lot of interaction back and forth, you know, the exchanging of messages. And it wasn't only just with my signature. I was communicating with them with our agreed meaning for the glyphs and leaving them messages according to that. And they would answer me back with the same understanding that I could understand. So it's really, really quite remarkable and just amazing. Here's the old friendship welcome next. Yeah, so many possibilities. They're so clever, you know, the way they do them. I mean, they look pretty simple, but actually, the beauty is in the simplicity, and they're not really as simple as they look sometimes. But, yeah. So basically, what I'm suggesting is just go out and leave your intent with the forest people, and just let them know this is my glyph, and welcome them to connect with you to that avenue. Yeah, and so good luck to everybody, and I hope that you get some results from that. It really is a really remarkable way to connect with them and to communicate with them. And yeah, I recommend it to anybody. And it's a good way, it's a really good way to introduce yourselves to them and initiate a connection too. So if you feel that there are Sasquatch in your area, or you've got an area where you go and Sasquatch frequent, and you know, you want to establish a friendship, introduce yourselves to them, go into that area and just leave one of these and say, this is me. I'd like to introduce myself. Just leave it and see what happens. And don't be surprised if you come back and they change it, and then you start seeing other glyphs with your signature in it, and it unfolds from there. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, pickup sticks I call them. Yep, absolutely. So, go out there and have fun. Always show the Sasquatch respect. You know, approach them from a position, a heartfelt position. Just treat them like people. You know, they don't want to be treated like monsters. They don't want to be treated like anything other than just brothers, you know. So don't approach them in fear. Approach them with respect. You know, humor singing, all those high energy vibe things they like. Just you know, go out there and have some fun, and no expectations, and see what happens. But yeah, it's quite amazing. There's another thing with glyphs that you know, like once you understand the symbols or whatever, like, you know, for me the A is a kind of our X, friendship, welcome. H is Raja say, her signature. 4 is Forshna. You know, the Y is man, Sasquatch, all connected, and on and on and on. So that's one way that you can communicate with them. But the other thing that I've noticed with glyphs is sometimes they are extremely literal. Extremely literal. And they will just basically draw, you know, what they see you doing or whatever. Or, for instance, this one I call the tent glyph. And they've left this for Sue and I many, many times. And actually I associate it with a house. And their meaning is like the house is together or the house is divided. And it was kind of like they were leaving me messages according to how they thought my relationship with Sue was going, because they have a very vested interest in it, because they brought us together and said that we have work to do for them. So they've been very, very consistently behind Sue and I. A lot of the messages, some of them at least, are about us. And so they leave a lot of tent glyphs or house glyphs, and I think quite often it reflects on how they see the state of our union and how it's progressing, or you know, so to speak. So here's a tent glyph, but like if it was like this, if this piece was out, that would mean that the house is not quite together. There's still work to do to bring it together. So stuff of that nature. So you can notice sometimes how literal they are. And you know, with the famous, well, sorry, not famous. Excuse me. My really, really, one of my all-time favorites and Sue's favorite was the tent glyph that they left for Sue and I. And like I said, it was extremely literal. I've made videos on that. But basically they left as a glyph of a tent because an individual was watching us the night before. And he drew the next day, right in front of our tent, what he saw us doing. And so we had a tent glyph kind of thing. And he had 2 little sticks in there that represented Susan and I. Oh yeah, and I forgot. Let me see this. These guys were so, Susan remarked that, man, these guys are so good that they even left tent pegs. You know, they even knew that you had to put the tent pegs in the ground. It was remarkable. So they left basically that. And, you know, here were Sue and I. And then, just outside of that was the bigger individual who was watching us in the tent. And, you know, it was exactly, and Sue actually heard this individual, so this guy was exactly situated where Sue heard him. He was breathing heavy in the bushes, you know, like a man with big lungs. And so this is exactly what went down and what he witnessed. So this was him. We were in the tent, or the, yeah, and you see how literal that is? I mean, so not only do they communicate with you once you understand what individual glyphs mean, and once again, like I say, that's between you and them. Literally, if you go up and you see a Y stick and you say, I think that means whatever, like for me, man, Sasquatch connected, and they have decided to work with you through glyphs, then don't be surprised if you start getting all kinds of messages with that Y stick in there, and it'll sync up perfectly with your understanding. So another way that they're quite literal, you know, I mean, this is a really, really obvious one, and I find this a lot, is you know, just like a stick man. And yeah, can't even make it as good as them, but basically it's a stick man, and then sometimes we'll even put like a little rocker something on it for a head. So that's quite literal. So you understand what I mean. So they can leave you what they see you doing, or their impression of you, which I've been left stickmen, and I've been left stickmen in action poses where, you know, they were expressing that they had seen me hiking or things of that nature. So the glyphs can be very, very literal, and here's a perfect example of that. So I hope, you know, this has interested some of you, inspire you to go out there and try this on your own. Seriously, it's worked for a lot of people, and you know, just go out there with no expectations. Go out there with a heart full of love and respect for them, and you know, if they start interacting with you through glyphs, and you're going to have a fun time. You're going to have a great journey. So, thanks for listening, and hopefully that inspires some of you to go out there and do your own stuff. So I was just laughing, you know, when I was making that the video, I was tongue-in-cheek inviting all the little kids to come in for a glyph lesson. Yeah, like I can really teach them about glyphs. Well, you know, who knows? Maybe the little newborn guys, I can maybe teach a few tricks, but you know, they are the masters, I am the student. So, totally tongue-in-cheek, but you know, that's the way that I connect with these guys, with humor. You know, they've got an extremely great sense of humor. Like R.E. is like, he's a funny dude. I mean, he is so compassionate, but he's also filled with mirth and wonderment, and just a magical being. That they're just so loving and giving and accepting and non-judgmental, and what a gift to have a connection with them. But anyway, yeah. So I gave the locals a glyph lesson, how to build a glyph. Oh boy, fun. I'm feeling some really, really good energy here today. You know, I'm sure that they're enjoying the sense of humor behind it.